Hi there YouTube, it's Matt here from the Gear Shed again. Going to do a quick and dirty review of this Alpkit cloud cover. This is a down quilt. If you're not too familiar with Alpkit, it's a UK company. What they do is they sell mostly down sleep. They do down sleeping bags, a bit of bike packing luggage, a couple of tents, a few other odds and ends. They're an interesting company that they basically design stuff in the UK, get it made offshore and also in the UK, but they sell direct from their website, so they basically don't stock into shops. So the only way to get them is really online. That obviously cuts out the middleman, does make things a bit cheaper. So the good quality kit at quite a good price. So not talking super top end, you know, but good solid stuff for basically your weekend warrior, you know, just good solid stuff. So this is their cloud cover. This is their foray into making a down quilt. They only do this one style. It's good to give an idea. Against the old can of cream rice, not too bad compact wise. Can get it smaller than that if you put it into a compression sack, but that's the sack it comes to. I could get that actually a lot smaller. As it comes out of the factory, it's 200 grams a down, 600 full power duck down, and it weighs around about, I think it's about 500 grams or something in that configuration. Now what I've done is I've modded it to make it a bit better for me. That's up the weight to 604 grams with the stuff sack, and it's up to down by around, I think it's about 100 extra grams I'm going to be putting in there at the end of it. Now the problem I have with this, what I did over the last couple of years is get rid of my down sleeping bags. So what I was finding is I was using them like a quilt anyway. I was putting my feet into the box, the foot box, and throwing it over the top of me like a quilt. So I thought, let's get rid of some of the excess weight, because I'm not laying on the bottom, I'm just throwing it over the top of me. So I thought, let's go to the quilt. So I started by trying this guy out. Problem with this is it comes in the factory, it's too narrow and it's too short. I'm 6'1", which I don't envisage as a monster man. I'm not hugely tall or anything, but when I got into this, my feet were sticking out the end and it was barely coming up to my chin. Also, if you rolled over, it was just not wide enough to cover your body. It was sliding all over the place. Right, so what I did, as if you can see, I know it's going to be difficult on this camera, where the Alpkit name is, that's actually the end of the quilt when it came out of the factory from Alpkit. What I did is I sourced some fabric from Extreme Textiles, a German company. They sell you everything you can ever imagine when it comes to outdoor fabrics. So they sell down, climate shield, synthetic insulation, they do cubic fibre, silk nylon, cordura, Pertex, you name it, waterproof breathable fabrics. Great place, get a lot of my fabric from there, and also my little odds and ends and clips and things. So I got some of their 20 denier downproof taffeta nylon, sewed it to the top, so you can kind of see that's the difference in length. So quite a bit of jump there to get the extra length in it. Also, I've sewn a extra baffle on the side as well that runs sort of 3/4 of the length of the bag, giving me my extra width. Okay. Now I filled that with 700 full power European goose down. So great weight, warmth to weight ratio. Also, I put in a draw cord at the top as well, like clinch cord, like a sleeping bag. Also a couple of little clips. These are little clips are actually off what they use lanyards when you go to conferences and stuff. They give you a little name lanyard around your neck. There's a little clips for there, so nice and small and compact. Clip on there, just sewn on a bit of tape I had laying around. And then also I've sewn on a neck baffle. So when you put this around your neck, there's like a down-filled channel. It just sort of seals it in around your neck while that draw cord comes in. Okay. The other great thing with this, you can use it as a quilt, obviously, and you can clinch it up more like a sleeping bag. As it comes out of the factory, Alpkit put these little snap domes along the bottom here. So the bottom, it's probably about the bottom third or so of the quilt. Put this over the top. Oh, very fiddly. Like that, so it creates like a foot box. And then there's two little draw cords on the bottom here. I actually cut these down, they were horrendously long, didn't need to be anywhere near that long. And it creates a foot box. Okay. So it quite well. Now construction wise, this is actually sewn through, so it's not a Arctic grade bag by any chance. It's just sewn through, which actually makes it quite easy to modify. Like doing this was actually quite simple. I just sewed a piece of the top fabric to the top piece of the baffle, and the bottom piece to the bottom piece of the baffle. So there's actually it's not sewn through there. There's actually a bit of a gap, I suppose, like almost like a baffle in there. So that's not continuous, but it's like a baffle coming in, so it's all the same height. Warmth wise, now the thing with these down quilts that you find is that you're quite reliant on your sleeping mat. So you need a good sleeping mat. I'll do a review on a couple of ones that I use. I've crossed over to using the Thermaris Neo Air X lights. So that the actual sleeping mat is quite important because you're going to rely on that a lot of obviously for comfort, but also for insulation from the ground. What I find with these quilts too is it's making sure they're big enough. A lot of people buy them and they buy the stupidest lightest quilt they can find, but it doesn't actually cover them, so then they obviously get cold spots and air getting up underneath the quilt. So it's large enough, the kind of the weight penalty that you pay is quite minuscule for this extra. I mean, you're looking basically it's less than 100 grams, I think, to add these extra pieces on. So it's well worth doing. 100 grams is neither here nor there. It's like a couple of chocolate bars leaving at home. So sleeping wise, so warmth wise, I reckon with this, I haven't had it down really cold yet, but just judging on how I have used it, I'd probably easily get down to freezing in this. That's quite saying something for me because I'm a bit of a cold sleeper. The biggest thing is, the biggest challenge with quilts is breezes coming up underneath your bag. So a lot of people, especially if you're in a tarp or something like that, will use it with a bivy bag or just a lightweight, like a Pertex bivy bag that's not waterproof but just cuts down on the breeze underneath. The other thing I find is quite handy is also using a liner, so like a silk liner. It just cuts out the breezes. You can also, on my other bag, which was more my winter quilt, I've sewn basically clips on the side, so I can put a bungee cord, a piece of shock cord underneath the bed roll. So it goes underneath the bed roll and it tucks this underneath like a cocoon underneath your body, so it doesn't move around as much. Okay. The other couple of things with this. My winter quilt has horizontal baffles, which are actually have baffles in it. Instead of these are sewn through. But these are vertical baffles, and I find them actually better because what happens is you don't have the down separating off the top of your body. It will migrate a little bit up and down the baffles here. With this thing here, I probably, if it really gets a lot of down migration, I'll just pop the stitching on the bottom and chuck another 50 grams of down, and that will actually stop the down from moving around. So having it vertical, I think if I ever made a full quilt, it would be a vertical baffle like this, mainly for that reason, to stop the down sliding off your body when you're laying on it, when you're laying underneath it. I find that a little bit with my winter quilt. It does move around a little bit. Okay. So all in all, I mean, I think when I purchased this, it was 65 quid. That was obviously before I started adding all the extras to it. This fabric was relatively cheap. I think it was like £3 a metre. I ordered like a couple of metres of it. And then also the down, I think the down works out to be, I think it's about 20 quid for 100 grams, which goes a hell of a long way. 100 grams, yeah, it goes a fair way when you're making down products. I mean, down is incredibly light, so it's not a huge space. So on its own, it was 65 quid. I know they have gone up since then. The big thing with Alpkit as well is they don't generally have huge stocks of things, so something comes in on their website and you're like, wow, I better buy it, and within a couple of weeks it might be sold out. So if you're after one, keep your eye out for it. I would recommend if you're under sort of 6 foot and not too big, like I'm about 45 inch chest, so I'm quite wide in my chest, and I find that also with a lot of the clothing and stuff difficult to get the proportions right. So having the width, I think this nearly comes up to 1.5, around that sort of width. With those baffles coming, I think it's 140, something like that. Don't quote me on that. I think they've got the dimensions on side. So if you're not too big in the chest, if you're sort of like a 40 inch chest, 42 inch chest, something like that, they'd probably get away with it. And if you're under 6 foot, you'd be fine. Anything bigger than that, becomes trying to squeeze yourself under a postage stamp. It's not big enough. Maybe that's something that Alpkit can, if you're watching guys, think about it, make it wider. So availability wise, in the UK there's actually basically very little you can choose from when it comes to down quilts. They're quite huge in the US. Over here in the UK I've pretty much seen Alpkit do this guy, the cloud cover. UK hammocks, they custom make down quilts, which is what my winter quilt style quilt is. And then also basically the only other ones I've seen around the place is Thermarest do some, they do a couple of down ones and a couple of synthetic ones as well. So really difficult. It's something that in the UK is not a hugely popular. Everybody's into sleeping bags. And also what's quite interesting is that in the UK there's a perception that you have to have a synthetic because it's so wet over here. I come from New Zealand. Not sure if you've been there, but it pisses with rain a lot. And I've traditionally always used a down sleeping bag. And we do fly camping as like a standard thing that Kiwis do. We do stay in huts a lot, but we do river crossings. And when I say river crossings, up to your chest, you don't take your boots off, you just go through the rivers. So our kit is constantly wet. It's a very wet environment. I've never been stupid enough to get any of my down equipment completely soaked. I'm not sure how people do it. You will, over the course of a period, you will lose a little bit of insulation if it's constantly wet. But it's just being clever about it. Obviously, don't expose it to wet. Don't lay your sleeping bag out all day, hoping it's going to stay dry in your tent. Put it in a stuff sack, stick it in a plastic bag. Those kind of things. Got to be a bit of an idiot to get your down sleeping bag wet. I can't understand it. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 odd years. I still haven't managed to get it completely wet, so I don't know what people do. I do have a few synthetic things. I've got another couple of things I'll do a review on as well, synthetic wise. But to me, go to ultralight down. Down's the way to go. Unless you are sleeping in an icy ditch all the time with no bivy bag, then I'd still go for down. The other perception is obviously a synthetic works better when it gets down. If you've ever slept in a synthetic sleeping bag when it's wet, it's not exactly a fantastic night's sleep either. I have, down can be dried, not that successfully in the field, so the best thing to do is don't get it wet. That's simple stuff. And same as with synthetic. Synthetic's still not fantastic when it's completely wet, so yeah. Alright, so hopefully it gives you an idea. So that's the Alpkit cloud cover plus modification. You can see why I did it. I'll go through, I've got a few other quilts and stuff that we can do a review on to give you an idea. Yeah, so apart from that, hopefully that helps. Please subscribe, I've got plenty of other stuff coming out. I've got a few more reviews. I've got tons of reviews basically of all my kit. And then I'll do a few trip reports as well to give you an idea of what we do. Cheers guys, thank you very much, and see you later.